Good morning, Little Masters, and welcome back to today's Tolkien Times, a Prancing Pony podcast production. I'm the Man of the West, and it's time to keep week 90 going with another Word Nerd Wednesday. Now, last series, we used Word Nerd Wednesdays to cover the names and places that we've been encountering in the story of Tuor and Turambar Tuesdays. This time around, I'm going to be using Word Nerd Wednesdays to look more closely at words that we run into as we continue reading the story of Tuor and His Coming to Gondolin on First Stage Fridays. Now, this week, we'll be looking at a few words that we saw in quick succession in last week's reading. For though the ancient dwellings of the Falathrim, Brithambar and Eglarest, were still far distant, orcs now dwelt there, and all the land was infested by the spies of Morgoth. And in the next paragraph, when Voronoi spoke rather of the dwellings upon the Isle of Balar and of the Lisgarth. Well, let's start at the beginning. The Falathrim are the elves of the coast of Beleriand. The word is Sindarin. It combines the element falas, meaning shore, and the collective plural for a group of people, rim, as in Galadhrim, Rohirrim, etc. Actually, I know I said people, but that's actually just the most common use. It actually is any collective plural. We also see it in Thangorodrim, the mountains of tyranny. Remember, there are 3 peaks, as well as the Chrysaegrim, the cleft mountain peaks. The element falas is something we've encountered before. Anfalas, longshore, and Belfalas are examples. Now, these Falathrim dwelled in 2 places, according to the paragraph, Brithambar and Eglarest. Brithambar uses the somewhat familiar bar suffix. That one means house, dwelling, or home. It derives from the root mbar, M-B-A-R, meaning settle or dwell. It can mean house, like the house of a family. The clan of Beor is referred to as Bar Beora in the War of the Jewels. It can also refer to a literal dwelling, like Bar en Danwedd, House of Ransom, or a settlement or town, as in this case, Brithambar, meaning Brithon home. It's a haven at the mouth of the river Brithon, where it pours into the sea in the west of the Falas. Brithon itself, the name of the river, is a Sindarin word meaning pebbly. Now, the other dwelling of the Falathrim was to the east, where the river Nenning reached the sea. The shore here bends inland before going south, so we're talking about a west-east relationship between these towns. That place was called Eglarest. Now, Eglarest has 2 elements. The adjective Eglin, meaning forsaken. You might remember that's a name that the Sindar used for themselves, the Eglath or the Egline. That means the forsaken. And then there's the noun rest, meaning cut. Now, rest comes from the root ris, which we also see in words like Angrist, iron cleaver, and Chrysaegrim, cleft mountain peaks. Next up is a place far, far to the south of both Brithambar and Eglarest, the Isle of Balar. Now, what's most interesting about Balar is not so much its etymology, though we're going to cover that, it's Word Nerd Wednesday. It's that the name Balar is the source of the name of this entire part of the continent, Beleriand. Balar plus the IAND suffix, Osiriand, Honorian, Lorien. In the etymologies of the 1930s, Balar was said to be derived from the primitive Elvish root Baal, which had to do with power, specifically divine power. That Baal root is the same as in Vala, right? It gets lenited to a V there, and also Balrog. Now, in the War of the Jewels revisions of the Silmarillion, which date to the 50s and 60s, Balar was actually said to be another name of Osse, but that ended up not being the final version, so divine power is a good way to think of that. Next, Voronoi spoke of the Lisgarth. What is this? Well, it's another Sindarin name, this time combining Lisg, meaning reed, it's L-I-S-G, and we don't see this element anywhere else, so I can't point you to it. But also has the word Garth, meaning region, like Kalanarthon, or mutated to just Ard as in Ardgalan. It's cognate with Quenya Arda, region, realm, specific land. So land of reeds, just like it says in the text. Thanks, Professor, making my job easier, or maybe just redundant. After this, Voronoi mentions the Bragolach. That's a reference to the Dagor Bragolach, the Battle of Sudden Flame. But let's break down Bragolach, see why that means sudden flame. Well, the adjective bregol means quick or sudden. We see that same element in the name of everybody's second favorite ent, Quickbeam. His Sindarin name, Bregalad, quick beam, or literally quick lively tree. The noun lach, brago lach, means flame or leaping flame. We see that same element in the name of the sword Anglachel, iron of the flaming star. Now finally, Varanwe acknowledges that the Noldor just can't build ships strong enough to long endure the waves of Belegaer the Great. Now the first element in this Sindarin name should sound familiar because we've looked at the name of Beleg Cuthalion several weeks back during the story of Turin. Beleg is an adjective meaning great, mighty, large, big. We see it not only in Beleg's name directly, but in the dwarven fortress of Belegost, which means great fortress, and Belegur, the Sindarin cognate of Melkor, he who arises in might. That Beleg element is also in the name of a couple of kings of Arthedain, Arveleg, where Beleg gets lenited to Veleg. Now, the second element in Belegaer is Gaer, meaning sea. We don't see it often, but one of Eärendil's companions was Eirondir. Now, the mutation drops the G. So that name meant sea wanderer. Now, we also see it in the hymn to Elbereth in the line, Nev Eir si Nev Eiron, meaning here beyond the sea, beyond the wide and sundering sea. So, Belegaer means great sea. So I kind of feel like saying Belegaer the Great is like saying Anduin the Long, or ATM machine for that matter. It's from the Department of Redundancies. Anyway, folks, that is it for today's Word Nerd Wednesday. Come back next week as we wander the wide, wild, wonderful world of words weekly on Wednesdays. And if there's a word you want to know more about, just let me know. Email barliman@theprancingponypodcast.com. And please visit patreon.com/TolkienTimes to learn how you can support the show, get an ad-free feed, a monthly hangout with me, and more. And join me again tomorrow on today's Tolkien Times for Third Age Thursday, as we continue something new after covering all those songs and poems by moving into artifacts in the Third Age. Podcast listeners, please be sure to subscribe to the show in your podcast apps. For those of you on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to this channel to get all of the PPP productions. And be sure that you're following @PrancingPonyPod on social media. Finally, as Faramir says, go with the goodwill of all good men.